Good morning, One Love. Does this look familiar? This is like a flashback to like when we first started doing all of the online stuff. So let me just begin by saying I hope you're warm. I hope you got your cocoa, got your kids around you. I hope things are good. I hope you feel good. I hope you're healthy. And I hope most of all to see you next week. But this week, we are online only because of the snow. And I love the snow. And I hate the snow. But that's okay because today we get to be together in this way. So I love you. I'm happy to see you. And before we get started this morning, I just got an announcement that I want to share with you. And then after our teaching today, we have a couple other announcements that I'm really excited about. I'm excited about all of them, but I'm really excited to share with you what's coming up in the life of the church. So let's begin with this. There's a lot that's been going around about us raising items for the Ronald McDonald House. If you are one of those people and maybe you've got some items this week and you are unable to bring them to the church, will you let us know? We want to arrange a way to pick those up from you this week. You can do that. Just email office@onelovechurch.org, all spelled out, office@onelovechurch.org. And we will connect with you, or you can message us on Facebook or any way that you want to reach out. But we want to come and help to get those items so we can deliver those items this week. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share with you. I want to share quickly a story with you. There was a moment in my life when I really wasn't sure what it was that God was calling me to do. What is it exactly that I'm supposed to do? Because I knew almost from a very young age that it was not becoming a pastor. I think most of you know that. I've shared that story with you. I knew pretty early on that God can call me to do a lot of things, but being a pastor is most likely not going to be that thing. Surprise, it was that thing. But I remember at one moment I was really wrestling with that, and I called a friend of mine. I spoke to my friend and I told him exactly what was going on in my heart, what I felt like God was pushing me toward and telling me to do. And so I kind of shared that with him, and he told me something that I will never forget. He said, "How do you feel when you wash feet? How do you feel when you wash feet?" Maybe you have no idea what that means. Maybe you're watching this today and you don't even realize that in the church, one of the things that we do, most of the time it's around Easter, is wash feet. Now there's churches who do it in a lot of different ways because washing feet is kind of gross. But I will tell you this, when I found out that I had to wash feet, one of the things I found out, I disappeared. Can you see me? Am I here? Where? Hey, there I am. One of the things that I found out from watching, technical difficulties, you got to bear with us. Kelly, now I'm all blurry. Y'all see this? Can you see this? I want to look good for you. I want to, wait. Oh. Purdy. All right, anyway, so when I was growing up, around Easter time, we, in our youth group, it was a group of teenagers that came to church together, and in our youth group, I remember we had to wash feet one time. So we came in around Easter time, and we all took our socks and shoes off. We sat in a circle, and we started to wash feet. Now, I don't know if you know me very well, but washing feet is like one of the last things I want to do. I'm just a small, tiny bit of what you might call like a germaphobe. I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better. But touching feet, no. That's not those nasty. I don't want anything to do with that. So I told him that. I said, well, that's like the least favorite thing I want to do. He goes, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to wash your feet. So he took a moment, he washed my feet, he stood up, he hugged me, and he talked about what it meant to wash feet, to wash the feet of each other. And it was really this simple. It was to show that you were important to me and that I will serve you. I will be there for you. I will love you. I will pray for you. And in this moment, I want you to know I'm not above you. I am less than, and you are greater. So what is it that I can do for you? Now, what does all that mean? All of that connects to what we talked about last week and the importance of us knowing who we are as a church. And we started to talk about the fact that we need to love people. So how do we love people? I got 3 verses that I want to share with you today. And the first, it deals with exactly that, serving. And this is it from Philippians chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. It says this: "If therefore there is any encouragement in Christ, if there is any consolation of love, if there is any fellowship of the Spirit, if any affection and compassion, make my joy complete by being of the same mind, maintaining the same love, united in spirit, intent on one purpose." You ready for it? "Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, let each of you regard one another as more important than himself. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others." We have 3 pillars here at One Love Church, 3 pillars of outreach, 3 pillars of community, 3 pillars of loving people. And here's the first. The first is to serve. To serve one another. What do we have to do? We have to first understand why we are here in a community of believers in Jesus Christ. Why we are here in a community of people who want to unite with God in one single purpose. And what is that purpose? Loving God and loving people. That's the purpose. That's what Jesus in Matthew 28 has called us to do. Love God and love people. So, in the pillar of loving people, there's 3 things that we do. Here's the first: serve. Serve. It's really that simple. It's kind of like the story of washing feet, except for you don't have to wash feet right now. It's the story of understanding that our purpose as a community is to make sure that the rest of our community is provided for. Now, what does it mean to be provided for? It means to be provided for mentally. It means to be provided for financially. And it means to be provided for spiritually. Mentally means I am there for you when you need me. You need someone to talk to. You need someone to sit with. You need someone to pray for you. Mentally, I want to be there to help you, to take the burden, to do what I can to provide for you what Jesus has provided for me. It's what it means to be a disciple. Here's the second one, financially. We as a church take a tithe every single week, or an offering, or a giving time, whatever you want to call it. We take one up every single week. And part of that goes to, guess what? Each other. When there's someone in need in the church, we give to them. And in our church, if you are a part of One Love Church especially, we usually don't even ask what for. There's no forms to fill out. There's nothing to do. If you need a shirt, I give you the one off my back. If you need food, I feed you. Financially, if you need help, we try to help. That's the first thing. And then, or the second thing. And then finally, it's spiritually. What does it mean to serve spiritually? It means that I want to be the brother in Christ that helps you learn what it means to be a brother in Christ. What does it mean to be a disciple of Jesus? We get together, we study together, we sharpen each other, we lift each other up when one of us falls. Mentally, financially, and spiritually, we serve one another. That's the first pillar of what it means to love people at One Love Church. So what's the second pillar? The second pillar is to be intentional. Have you ever been intentional about something? Let me tell you what I am intentional about. Food. I like food. Matter of fact, I don't just like food. I'm in a love affair with food. Don't tell Sarah. She already knows. What I mean by all that is this. I have every single day a fourth meal. Maybe you have one too. Maybe it's not just me. Here's what it looks like, right? Wake up in the morning, you have breakfast. For me, that's usually a couple eggs, or I'll be honest with you, I don't always eat breakfast. But here's number two. Number two is lunch. What do I do for number two? Whatever is around. Usually, just again putting this out there, I drink a vitamin shake. Oh, sounds great, doesn't it? And I take vitamins because I'm weird like that. I take a bunch of vitamins because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get anything to happen to this beautiful mug. I want to be there for y'all. So I take that's my lunch thing, right? Then third, I had dinner. I always have a big dinner, right? It's why I don't lose weight. I eat fried foods. I eat fatty things. And so maybe that's why I do the vitamins at lunch, because I think it's going to cover up I don't know. But then, late at night, guess what happens? There's something that stirs within me. It cries out, chocolate, sugar, chocolate milk, the little donuts, cookies, cakes. My son works at a coffee shop. Do you know what he brings to me, people? Cinnamon rolls. When they get to the point where they can't sell them in the shop anymore, but don't worry, they're still like a week or two good on them. They just can't sell them anymore. He brings home cinnamon rolls. And they're the healthy ones, supposedly. The healthy cinnamon rolls that are full of cinnamon and sugar and the icing on top, and I melt it 30 seconds in the microwave. It's the best thing you've ever had in your life. This is meal number 4 for me. I do it almost every single night. It's why I can't get rid of these man boobs like I want to. The fat just piles on people. What does all that have in it? I am intentional about my 4th meal. I'm intentional about making sure I do take my vitamins every single day, drink my vitamin shake every single day. I am intentional about making sure I put food into my mouth. We need to be intentional about doing what God has asked us to do in the area of service to one another, the area of community, the area of loving each other. Here's what that looks like. Look at Timothy chapter 4. This is 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 15. It says this: be diligent in these matters. Give yourself wholly to them, so that everyone can see your progress. The second pillar is this: we will be intentional. What does that mean? That means we will find every avenue, every opportunity to serve. We will look as a community of believers for areas in our communities to be intentional about loving people, about using our hands and feet to be the disciples of Jesus Christ and helping other people move forward. Maybe it's happened in your life. I know it's happened in mine, where you've seen opportunities and you haven't taken them. We're all busy. And to be honest with you, not very many of us are rich. And so you find yourself second-guessing, coming up with reasons why I shouldn't do it, don't need to do it. And here's the hardest part. As a church, often we just get lazy. We just get lazy. Things are going good. We've got a building. Things are nice. And so those things kind of fall by the wayside. We have to be intentional about making sure as a church community that we are in the community being Jesus to people. What's that look like? It's looked in a lot of different ways here at One Love Church. We have raked leaves. We've gone to parks and picked up trash. We've gone to our neighbors' houses. We've gone to restaurants and we've paid for people's meals. We've delivered groceries. We've collect items for all kinds of different nonprofits, including the Ronald McDonald House, like we talked about earlier. We've done all kinds of things in our community. But we haven't done enough. We definitely haven't done enough lately. This pandemic has given us the biggest excuse. And that is that a lot of these nonprofits have told us, you can't be around right now. So, what are we going to do about that? hold on just a little bit longer. We're going to tell you all about it. Here's the third part, the last part. We have to become instruments of reconciliation. Instruments of reconciliation. See, here's the two things we've talked about. The first pillar of loving people at One Love Church is to understand the responsibility of service. You need to serve others. Here's the second one. You have to be intentional about it. You have to be looking for the opportunities and stepping into those opportunities, knowing that maybe God put you in that moment for that thing. And finally, the third one, to be an instrument of reconciliation. Read this with me. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. I wrote 15 in my notes, and I couldn't find it this morning. Kelly helped me out. It's actually chapter 5. Here's what it says. We look inside, and what we see is that anyone united with the Messiah gets a fresh start, is created new. We talked about this last week. The old life is gone. A new life burgeons. Look at it. All this comes from God, who settled the relationship between us and him, and then called us to settle our relationships with each other. God put the world square with himself through the Messiah, giving the world a fresh start by offering forgiveness of sins. God has given us the task of telling everyone what he is doing. We are Christ's representatives. God uses us to persuade men and women to drop their differences and enter into God's work of making things right between them. We're speaking for Christ himself now. Become friends with God. He's already a friend with you. What is reconciliation? Reconciliation is the understanding that through Jesus, we have been reconciled to have a relationship with God. So knowing and understanding the sacrifice that Jesus made so that we could be in a reconciled relationship with God, why is it that we have so many relationships in our own life that need reconciled? We hold grudges, we get angry, we get mad, we stomp our feet, we post on Facebook and Twitter, we make sure that everybody knows that we're angry when we're angry. Jesus tells us very clearly when he says to love people, that our job is now to help people reconcile. Reconcile with you, because your spirit needs healed as a disciple of Jesus. But reconcile with each other and finally be reconciled with God. This is what I love about our message. And somehow, some ways, our message gets distorted, because we often think that it's our job as disciples to convince people, to beat people down, to smack people with our Bibles until they understand what they need to do so they don't go to hell. Well, kind of, but that's not the way. What Jesus tells us is the way is to love, is to serve, is to help people understand and see in you there's a difference. There's a different way to live their life. There's a different way to move forward. And what is it about you that is so different? The difference is that you believe that Jesus died for you to reconcile your relationship with God. And therefore, it is your job to help other people reconcile in their relationships. Because how can we move forward spiritually in a healthy way if we have yet to heal our own spirit? Jesus talked about it often. You have to heal before you can help others heal. One of my favorite things I say all the time here at One Love Church is this: broken people create broken disciples. Healthy people create healthy disciples. What happens when you're discipled by a broken person? You think that the life as a disciple that they have taught you is how a disciple is supposed to live. The truth is, their brokenness has created for you a false identity of a disciple. And so when they get angry about things, You get angry about things because you think that's what you're supposed to do. When they leave churches, you leave churches because you think that's what you're supposed to do. It's what you've seen, it's what you've learned, and so now, as a disciple, you've become a broken disciple. Healthy people create healthy disciples. If the person who is discipling you or mentoring you or helping you or praying for you is helping you to walk forward in a healthy way, what I mean by that is, instead of getting angry, I see opportunities to grow. Instead of worrying about failure, I understand that failure leads to success. Instead of all of the issues of the past condemning me and bringing me down and you've got to change things, you've got to understand things. Instead of that, healthy mentors, healthy disciples will tell you things like this: only Jesus can forgive you. Only Jesus can lead you to a path of forgiveness of others and what they've done in your life. The art of reconciliation is this: understanding that the health and well-being of the disciple comes from God. And now God has called you as a healthy disciple to, guess what? Help others reconcile with him and with each other. Create friendships, not enemies. Find opportunities, not disasters. Seek for peace. I'm not getting on Facebook in order to get more angry. I might have to get off of Facebook so I don't get as mad. There's changes that have to happen in our lives if we are to fulfill the 3 pillars: service, intentional, and reconciliation. Serve, be intentional, and reconcile those relationships. Church, that's it. That's our 3 pillars of service. So I told you before I was going to let you in on a couple of things that are coming up. Here's the first. When we talk about service and being intentional, in our leadership team meeting this week, I talked with Tim about what are some of the things that we can still do. Even in our environment, when a lot of the nonprofits are not allowing us to come around for obvious and good reasons, what is it that we can still do? So we are going to start projects. What's that mean? That means every month, as we continue on this journey together until these things start opening up, and we pray to God that that happens very, very soon, we are going to start giving you a monthly service project. That means you have a whole month to do one thing. We're going to be issuing again our One Love cards. If you can't get to the church and you would like some of the One Love cards, maybe you don't know what that is. At One Love, we have a little card. It's not an advertisement for our church. We don't believe in doing things so that people will come to our church. We believe in doing things so that you are a disciple of Jesus. So on this card, it simply says, we wanted to reach out and love you so that you know we have been loved by Jesus. We are his touch of love to you. So that little card will go with anything that you do for someone. Especially in this moment, the card is probably going to help you because you probably can't knock on doors and meet with people face to face. So if you drop things off, deliver things, whatever it may be, this will provide for you a way to communicate to them. So look out for the monthly projects. One is coming very, very, very soon. So be on our Facebook page. Watch these videos. Be live with us at church on Sunday mornings, and you're going to hear more about this. But here's the second thing. When we talk about reconciliation, what's the best way to do that? For us, we are a church that is centered in the community groups. The community group is the lifeblood of who we are as a church. And our community groups have been down for over a year thanks to this pandemic. So what are we going to do? We're going to revive them in a virtual way. So start looking for information that's going to be coming out. We're gaining leaders right now. Maybe you're sitting out there and you're thinking to yourself, I think I would like to lead a group. If so, again, email us, office@onelovechurch.org. We already have a handful of leaders who have committed to start groups virtually. So you're going to start seeing information about that as well. I'm excited about those two things. I'm excited to see where God leads this. But most importantly, I'm excited to see your growth as a disciple of Jesus Christ. I love all you so very, very much. Before we go today, I just want to remind you that you can give in 3 ways here at One Love Church. You can use our app. That is the easiest and fastest way to do it. And to be honest with you, it is the less fees that we have to pay. So if you go to our app, it's called Church Center. Search for that app. And then once you download the app, all you have to do is search for One Love Church. Sometimes you can search by the zip code. It's just 45424. Once you download that, you can give right there, and it's really easy. The second way, go to our website. We have a giving page on our website. You can give there. Or finally, if you want to send it into the church through the mail, we have many who do that as well. 4585 Chambersburg Road. I love you guys so much. One final note. 20 for 21. 20 for 21. What is that? We are raising $20,000 in 2021 to help us do some things around the church that need to be done, like a furnace. We already have people in our church that are helping. We are reaching out, and this is simply what we're saying. For anyone who is a part of this right now, maybe this video, maybe you're watching, if One Love Church has helped you in any way, we're asking right now that you would help us as well. You can give to any of those. Simply write in the memo that it's going to 2421. I want to thank all of you who have already started to do that. I think well, I don't want to give you a number because I'm not exact about it, and I don't want to lie to you. So I love you guys. I'll see you next week.